Alright, hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Casey, and today I'm bringing you guys a video all about what is holding you back from you reaching your goals. Now, I was originally going to call this, in what ways are you failing and how can you improve, but I thought that that would be a little bit harsh, and while I'm not going to be holding anything back, I didn't want to, scare everybody away from this reading. But I think that if you did click on this reading today, you are recognizing that there is something holding you back. There is a specific goal that you want to work towards. You have the drive for it, and you're willing to do what it takes to get there, and I really admire that. And I feel like you're at this point in your life where you're ready to address the tougher things to look at. You're willing to do the shadow work. You're willing to overcome obstacles and fears, and you want to get those obstacles out of your way because this is a goal that you really care about. So that's the kind of energy that I'm working with here today. If you clicked on this video, you're probably feeling that way. And so today, I don't want to scare you off by saying that, here's this mountain, you need to climb it, you need to get over there, you need to push past your fears. I kind of want to come into this with a gentle yet honest, here's what you need to do, here's what's holding you back, and here's how you can overcome it. I want to give you the advice that'll help you, and I want to hopefully deliver this to you in a way that's not going to completely make you want to stick your head in the sand and give up on whatever your goal is, because if you clicked on this, I do believe that this goal that you have, this life that you're working towards, whether it's career or love life, this is something you really want. This is something that you're willing to put in the work for, and I want to help you achieve it. So today I have 3 different readings for you to choose from. We have pile 1 with the tiger's eye, pile 2 with the rose quartz, and pile 3 with the blue lace agate. So go ahead and pause, figure out which one you feel most drawn to. I've left timestamps down in the description box below so you can quickly jump to whichever reading that you want to listen to. But that's all that I have to say. Go ahead and enjoy your reading. Alright, pile 1. If you chose the tiger's eye, then this is going to be the reading for you. Now, I want to start off by asking you to bear with me a little bit. I do have your cards pre-shuffled, and I've looked over all of them and tried to cement into my brain what I want to say, but for some reason it's hard for me to find words today, so it might take me a little bit longer than usual to get out what I need to say about your reading, but I do have it. It's just I might be faltering a little bit. So the way that this is working is in the middle here we have your 2 cards for what is the current goal or thing that you're trying to manifest into your reality. What is the thing that you're trying to work towards? And right here with the raccoon card we have who are you right now, and the fox is who do you need to become to achieve your goals and to manifest what you want into your reality. And on the bottom here with the tarot we have 3 cards of what are some things that you could improve or what needs to be fixed in order for you to achieve whatever this goal is. So starting off with your goal here, we have anger and cleanse. And when, anger was the first one to come out. When that came out, I was very confused because I was like, why is anger a goal that they have here? So I pulled another card, and the card you got was cleanse. And so then it made sense, okay, the thing that you need to work on in order to achieve anything that you want, there is a hurdle here that you need to get over. I see that there's a long-standing hurt within you. There is a long-standing issue within you, especially when it comes to self-image, insecurity, your emotions that hasn't been resolved. And because of this, you aren't comfortable in your own skin. You're not able to be your highest self because, for instance, when I'm looking at the fox and the raccoon here, to me they look very similar, but one, the version of you right now, is in the dark wearing a mask. You look at the raccoon, it almost looks scared. If I hold it up to you, if you look at it here, the raccoon almost looks scared, it's curling itself up into a ball and it's looking back at a predator, and its ears are faced forward, it's not relaxed, it's wearing this mask, it's in the dark, in the rain, in the cold, and it just looks like a very uncomfortable person to me. It looks like someone who feels like there's threats all around, who can't let down their guard, who has these strong boundaries because they needed to have them to protect themselves, but it's also hindering yourself. You can't be your true self when you have a mask on. A mask might give you the confidence to project confidence, to seem like you have it all together, to seem like you don't need anyone, but you're not being your true self when you have the mask on. And when I see the version of yourself that you need to become, if you look at the fox is holding its head high, it's relaxed, it's staring forward with strength, and it's covered in shining light. It's not hidden in the dark anymore. And that's who I see that you need to become. Also, another interesting note that I have here is these are both earth signs. So you could be an earth sign. This could be your sun, moon, or rising. That would be Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. Or it could be that you have earth dominant in your chart. Or it could be that earth and stability, that kind of element, is something that you need to work towards. Maybe grounding or just strength in general could be a good thing that you need to focus on here. Because when I think earth, I think strength and stability. And especially like if I'm looking at the version of you who you are right now, I would see earth, strength, and stability, I would see as like walls being put around you, versus the version of you that you need to be in order to achieve your goals has let down those walls but still has that strength inside. So what I see is you don't need to fully let go of your boundaries, completely be vulnerable and open to the world, but the boundaries that you have up right now, the inner walls that you have, and like when people try to get close to you, or if you feel like you want to express who you truly are, you're unable to do that. And when I look at anger and cleanse as your main goals or what you're trying to manifest, it's not that you're directly trying to manifest these positive emotions. I mean, you might, but whatever it is that you're trying to have, like let's say you want a certain career in being like a public speaker. The thing holding you back is your inability to be open and vulnerable, the inability to let down your walls and be truly yourself. I think especially being truly yourself is something that is very difficult for you, and something that you need to do in order to manifest this goal of being a public speaker, for instance, is getting rid of this anger, getting rid of these harsh boundaries that you have, because they're not serving you anymore. I think that these boundaries that you developed in the past, they were there to protect you. They were there so that you could protect yourself and have your needs be met. But now it's holding you back. It's like a dam, and you need to allow your river to rush forward, but you can't because you still have these things in place that aren't serving the purpose that's needed anymore. So this is a general reading. I do think it's going to be slightly different for everyone. But I think in general, the thing that you need to do is shadow work, introspection, maybe talk to a therapist, maybe confide in someone close to you. I want you to try to examine your triggers. Like if somebody says a certain thing and it sets you off, it makes you feel really angry, you have this need to run away or to fight. If you find yourself reacting really strongly emotionally to certain things that don't necessarily need that strong emotional reaction, I want you to examine that. Examine why you feel that way, why you react that way, and where in your childhood or your past did this originate from? Where did you start developing this need to react aggressively to things? Because it's time for you to unlearn that behavior. In the past, maybe it helped you, like the raccoon. It curls in on itself and faces a predator, but you don't need to do that anymore. There's no predator to hurt you. But you're still living in this fear that people are going to reject you, that they're going to hate you for who you truly are, that people are going to put you down, that they're going to stomp on the things that you love, that you can't achieve anything unless you're this strong, unfeeling person that doesn't show any emotions. So it's going to be slightly different for everyone. Maybe it's emotional volatility that you feel. Maybe it's anger, like I said, or maybe you shut down. Maybe you feel a lack of emotion. Maybe certain things cause you to shut down and run away. There's this show that I watch, The Queer Ultimatum. I just recently watched it. It's like a dating show, but for queer couples, and a lot of them have serious mental illness. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because there was this one woman named Aussie, and anytime there was any confrontation, anytime anybody slightly raised their voice, or not even like a confrontation, but somebody tried to speak their mind, she would like completely shut down, walk away, like she had a bag prepared to go so that she could leave at any second. And when I'm talking about like a trigger that needs to be resolved or something inside of you that needs to be resolved, she's coming to mind for some reason, because I'm just imagining like her main issue was she could not connect to her partner. She couldn't have healthy communication in her relationship, because any time that there was any sort of communication, it would set her off and she felt the need to run away. And I feel like that's where you're at right now. This could be for relationships, or this could be for whatever career that you want to pursue. There's something holding you back from being your true self. There's some insecurity about who you are. There's some insecurity about communication or confrontation, or facing your emotions that you need to address. That needs to be fixed here because it's holding you back. And I feel like with the anger card coming up, I want you to really examine when you feel these strong spikes of anger or sadness or strong volatile emotions. It's time for you to unlearn that behavior. It's time for you to unbecome that person because you had to react that way in the past, but now it's holding you back from what you want. And like I said, it's a general reading. For some of you, maybe like I said, you're like Aussie, where you can't have a strong, good, healthy relationship with the person that you want to marry or something, because if they bring up an issue, something's hurting them, or they're not getting what they need out of the relationship, you take that as there's something wrong with me. I'm unlovable. I can't provide for my partner because they're unhappy. When the truth is, maybe they just need you to take out the trash more often. But it's like they ask you to do something and suddenly it's like, oh, I'm not perfect, I'm not good. And you need to examine, like, why are you feeling this? They aren't saying that to you. There's some part of you that feels this way because of what somebody said to you. Now, I could keep going on, but I don't want to like spend all my time trying to figure out what the exact issue is for you because like I said, it's a general reading, it's meant for multiple people. But in general, this is what I see for you. This is the main thing that you need to fix. Because once you fix this, it's going to set you free. You will be your highest self. Like with the Fox card, you're no longer living in darkness. You're shining in light. You're confident and relaxed. And when you're in that state, everything happens so much easier. Whatever it is that you've been wanting, this is how you get to that. This is how you get that healthy partnership. This is how you get that career where you can be your independent, true, strong self. Like I said, like if you wanted to be a public speaker, you can't do that unless you're open and honest, or else you're speaking with lies. You need to take the mask off. You need to unlearn these things because you don't need to be afraid anymore. It's like when I look at the raccoon, it's in the dark. And we're scared in the dark because we don't know what's around us. But when you turn on the light, you realize there's nothing to be afraid of. You were just afraid of something that happened in the past that seems similar to what you're going through right now. You know, or certain things are triggering you, making you feel like there's a lion in the room with you. But in reality, there's not. You just need to turn on the lights and realize you're safe now. You're okay. You can relax. You can grow. You can be vulnerable. You're not going to be hurt. You're not going to be stomped on. You're not going to be yelled at. And so, like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time. But with the bottom three cards here with the tarot, we have what are things that you could improve upon, or certain things that you need to get rid of in your life, or things that need to be fixed. So the first thing that we have here is the Empress card. And the Empress card is all about divine femininity. And if you don't know what divine masculine, divine feminine mean, it has nothing to do with gender. It's more like archetypes. So for if you don't know, divine feminine is all about receiving. It's about like passivity, intuition, versus divine masculine is all about going after it, getting it, actively working towards it. It's like active versus passive. And like I said, it has nothing to do with gender. That's just like what humans ascribe to it because that's the closest archetype that we had that was similar to these ideas. So you don't need to be a woman or a man. Everybody has divine feminine and divine masculine energy within them. But I think that you have an overabundance of divine masculine energy. And the good thing about divine masculine energy is it allows us to get things done. It's like the Magician card, for instance, is the divine masculine card. It's all about going after something, getting it done, actively working towards something. But the problem with divine masculine energy is it doesn't allow you to sit back and receive. It doesn't allow you to sit back and get what it is that you need. It doesn't allow you to receive the energy that you're working so hard towards. You're constantly chasing, constantly working. And it's good because you're getting stuff done. But what you need right now is this divine feminine energy. So I want you to think about whatever goal it is that you've been really working hard towards. So think about like maybe you really want a partnership with a person. Or maybe it's like a career that you really want. I think that you've been actively chasing, actively working towards it. but you haven't given any time to wait and see if the thing will come to you. It's almost like you're chasing so hard you're pushing it away, especially if we're talking about a relationship here. A relationship is both ways. It's an equal partnership. And if you're all push, 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 I need my needs met, I need this thing done, I need this from you, you're not allowing the other person to speak up. It's almost like you're stomping on the other person to avoid you being the one stomped on. And you need to realize that if you want this partnership to work out, if you want it to be an equal balance here, you need to not be afraid to allow them to push back a little bit. And I want you to keep in mind, like, I'm not asking you to let yourself be trampled on. I'm asking you to back off so that there's an equal energy flow. Because you imagine, in a confrontation, the reason that it scares us is because we think that the person is throwing all these words at us, throwing all these harsh beliefs at us, and we're just being smothered by it. But if you're talking about healthy communication, it's not a confrontation, and a lot of people get this mixed up. This is what causes people to be triggered, what makes them want to yell or argue or run away or shut down. And in order to differentiate between the healthy communication and the confrontation, I want you to pay attention and see, am I getting smothered by this person's words, or are we having a dialogue back and forth? Can I allow myself to back off and allow them to speak, and not just while they're speaking, start thinking of what my rebuttal is, but really start thinking like, okay, what are they saying? Listen to them. Okay, I understand this is their point. This is how they feel about it. I understand that. I take it in. This is how I feel. I'm not going to diminish how you're feeling. I'm not going to diminish what you're saying or say that it's false. This is how I feel. Maybe they're different, but two opinions can exist, be different, and still be valid. And when you can hold space for both of those things being valid, acknowledging and allowing yourself to feel how you feel while also acknowledging that they might feel a different way, that's when you can have that healthy communication. Healthy communication doesn't always mean agreeing on the same thing or coming to the same agreement. Sometimes you guys will have differing opinions, and that's just how it needs to be. But that doesn't mean that you need to yell at each other. That doesn't mean that you need to shut down and run away. So that is the first thing that I see. I feel like these points are slightly different here. But the first thing is, the best way for you to work on actively cleansing this anger and these strong feelings, especially with another person, is to be able to allow yourself to stop talking. I'm not telling you to shut up, but like, if you're in this argument, if you're in this confrontation, allow yourself to stop talking, or even if you feel like you're about to shut down, instead of shutting down, allow yourself to open up just to hear them. Even if you don't want to speak, allow yourself to just listen for a little bit. I apologize if the vacuum next door is very loud. It's kind of thin walls. But the next card that I have for you here is the Nine of Pentacles reversed. And this card here, to me, speaks to insecurity, especially when it comes to the things that you have, the things that you want to protect. It can be seen as money. Pentacles are often seen as like coins or money, but it could also be like, I'm almost imagining like your inner child, or the side of you that you feel like you need to protect, the side of you that you feel like you need to keep sheltered. And when I look at this card, I'm seeing this person standing in front of all these pentacles, protecting them, holding them back from someone taking them, or someone stomping on them, or somebody yelling at them. You know, if it's like your inner child, you're protecting that side of yourself. You're growing this hard shell to protect your inner self from being hurt. You're protecting your belongings from being stolen. And I feel like this comes from maybe a childhood where you weren't allowed to have anything. You weren't allowed to have any privacy. You weren't allowed to show your emotions, or if you did, they were stomped on or spat at or yelled at or put down. And because of that, you hoard the things that you have. I'm almost imagining like this little raccoon. He's curled up because he's sitting on top of these coins. He's sitting on top of these things that he's trying to protect. And it's because a part of you still has that inner child inside of you that just wanted to be protected but never was. And now that you're an adult, you're the one that's protecting that younger version of yourself. You're the one that's saying to yourself, I'll protect you because nobody else will. And I feel like that was necessary for a long time, for you to protect yourself, for you to keep yourself safe. But now you're at a point in your life where there's nobody to stomp on it. There's nobody trying to steal from you. There's nobody trying to hurt you. In fact, I feel like for a lot of you, maybe you're in this relationship with this person who genuinely wants to see you succeed, who wants to see you grow, and who does want to protect you. but you're still scared. There's still a part of you that is untrusting. And the truth is, if you truly can't trust them, if they have hurt you in the past, walk away. Don't stay with this person. Allow yourself to protect yourself by putting up boundaries to say, if I am truly being hurt, I will walk away. But if you're not, then ask yourself, why am I still here? Am I here because I can trust this person? Am I here because this person does want what's good for me? And when you start to think, are they about to hurt me? Are they about to yell at me? Are they actually, or are they just trying to have communication with you? And the biggest thing is you need to open up about how you're feeling. If this is a person that you want to build a relationship with, if this is somebody that you want to love and trust, you need to open up about how you're feeling. Tell them, I'm this raccoon. I'm trying to keep myself safe. I don't feel safe opening up about certain things. And sometimes I feel triggered. I feel like you're going to hurt me in the same way that I was hurt before. And that's why I shut down. And if they can understand this, if you feel safe opening up about this, they can learn to not say certain things, to not do certain things. And you guys can learn to heal this over time. And that goes mainly for those of you that are in a relationship or are trying to have a relationship but have difficulty in it. Maybe you have a string of exes where everything failed because of this unresolved anger that you have within you. But I see there is something that has spurred you on to cleanse yourself of this anger. There's something that has pushed you to say, it's time to fix this. Maybe you've been given an ultimatum by your partner that if you don't fix the way that you are, if you don't fix this anger that wells up inside you, this need to shut down or run away, that they can't be with you anymore. Now you're like, oh shit, I really do need to work on this. I need to be better for them. So that was a long-winded thing just to say, like, a big thing that needs to be brought to your attention is your reactions to these things. What are your triggers? How are you reacting when they say a certain thing or do a certain thing to you? And finally, with the 9 of Cups, you can have everything that you want. You can achieve the perfect relationship. You deserve it. You can achieve the career that you want. You can achieve the friendships that you want. You deserve it. And I feel like you don't deserve it. I feel like for a long time you've been put down about not deserving it. You don't deserve money. You're not good enough. You're not worthy. You have all these ideas about things that you shouldn't have. And it's this limiting mindset. And you also have within you this feeling that I want those things. I want my desires to be attained. But then you beat yourself up and you're like, you don't deserve that. You remember how you yelled at that person the other day? You remember how you hurt that person the other day? And what I want to tell you is, as humans, we are very nuanced creatures. We have emotions and things that we react to. We have desires to be angry or throw things or react to save ourselves. But we also have the knowledge within us to know that that's not okay. And it's a great idea to just say, like, be the bigger person, be the better person. You are smart enough to know not to react this way. But deep down, we're still animals. We still have needs that we want to be met. We still have fears. We still have a fight or flight reaction. And going against those fears is extremely difficult. And the fact that you are actively trying to do this shows me you have a great strength. It shows me that you are deserving of these things. You do deserve to get over this. You do deserve to have a healthy life, a happy life. And so telling yourself that you don't deserve it, I want to direct you to a podcast. This isn't like a sponsorship or anything, of course, but I listened to, she's also a tarot reader on YouTube. Her name is Chloe Taylor, and she has a podcast called Divine Authenticity, and she just released it's like her most recent podcast episode was called something like Things That Kept Me Broke or something like that. You can see the date that this video was posted and go see the date that her podcast was posted around this time. And I urge you to listen to it because it kind of talks about this issue. And one of the things that she said, like, kept her broke was this mindset that she wasn't worthy of money. And she kind of delves into it, and I feel like she's better to talk about it than I am. And I feel like also if you've been having a lot of these feelings, her podcast could help you a lot because it's personally helped me a lot. And I really admire everything that she does. I think she is a great speaker and she has great advice. And so that's something that I want you to check out. I think that's what I'm going to leave you with here with this final card is if you have been feeling that way where you don't feel worthy of good things, not just money, but like feeling worthy of love, feeling worthy of a healthy partnership. Maybe you feel like you only deserve like people that do bad things to you because, well, you did bad things in the past. And I don't think that's true. So I urge you to go listen to her videos. They do help out a ton. And the final card that I have for you here today is just a piece of advice from your spirit guides. And this card is the Wren card. So maybe wrens, like this kind of bird, are a spirit animal for you. Maybe you see them a lot, or maybe you're going to start seeing them a lot after this video as like a sign to listen to this message that I've said here today. Take this advice into your heart. And so what the Wren card says is, be bold and confident. Use all of your resources to create your dreams. And so I'll leave you with that. I feel like it's a good sign that whatever it is that you want, you will get there. I see that there's a really tough road for you here, but you have it within you to succeed. You have everything that you need to get over these things. This is just something that's been ingrained into your life for so long. It's hard to unlearn, but it's not impossible. So, pile 1, that is everything that I have for you here today. I really, really hope that you enjoyed this reading, and if it did help, leave a comment down below, let me know. It does help me out a lot to know that these readings are reaching people, that it does mean something to them, that it did resonate. So if it did, leave a comment, leave a like. If you enjoy my videos and you want more, feel free to subscribe and stick around, because I do post about twice a week. And if you want more from me, just feel free to check out any of my other videos. I try my best to just do videos like this that can be really meaningful to people, other than, more superficial things. Though, if you are interested in just like straight up like, how do they feel about me? I do that as well. I watch those too, so don't worry. And if you want a reading about your personal situation, I do provide personal readings. There's a link down to my shop in the description box. But that is everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 2. If you chose the rose quartz, then this is going to be the reading for you. And the way that this is going to work is, in the middle here, we have your 2 cards, your very first 2 cards are determination and ideation. And this is all about what is your current goal, what are you trying to manifest into your reality, what are you working towards right now, what is that thing that you really want. And here we have 2 cards, this first one being, who are you right now, and this card being, who do you need to become. And I find that really interesting because in both of these, they look very similar. You have 2 snakes in each, and each have this circular thing that they're going around, which I'm going to give you my ideas on this. I haven't looked at the guidebook. I usually do, but I feel like I have a very strong idea of what I think it's saying, and so I'm just not going to muddle that with like the official meaning. I'm just going to use my intuition for this one. And then here on the bottom with the tarot, we have, what do you need to improve upon, or what do you need to let go of in order to manifest this goal into your reality? So, starting off with what your goal is, you have determination and ideation. This shows to me that you have a very strong, you already have the idea of what it is that you want. So, for a lot of you, I feel like this is going to have to do with like life purpose or career. I think you already know what it is. You have a very strong idea of it in your mind, but I feel like you haven't yet laid out the plans, laid out the schedule, laid out the ideas of what you're going to be doing every day to work towards this, what your 10-year, 5-year plan is going to look like. And I feel like, because, that stresses out a lot of people, especially if we're talking about this goal being something that you want to work towards that's creative. If it's something that you're very passionate about, sometimes when you have to draw strict guidelines around it and box it in with schedules and like I said, like a 5-year or 10-year plan, it starts to take the passion out of it, and you don't want to lose that momentum. But I'm here to tell you what I see clearly here with who you are and who you need to become. You are still going to have that passion within you. It's not going to suddenly go away. I feel like you're the type of person where you've had ideas come to you and you think it's really good, but you start working towards it and you start losing momentum. And I think you're really afraid that that's going to happen here, because this is such a good idea that you've come up with. It feels really personal and important to you, because I feel like you found like your life purpose. That's what it feels like. And with the cosmic egg, I feel like you're almost smothering it. Like I'm gonna actually hold these up here so you can see them clearly. If it'll focus. 1 second. There we go. Okay, so this is who you are right now, and this is who you want to become. with who you are right now, I see that there's all these like different colors blooming in this egg. This egg is like something that's about to hatch. It's your idea, your passion. You have this thing that you want to protect and you don't want to let it go. But the problem with not letting it go is you're not allowing it to grow. You're not letting it expand. You're not letting it hatch. You have all this potential for this idea, and it's something that you care about deeply, but you're scared that if you let it go, you're going to lose it. But what I see with who you need to become, you need to be in tune with it. You need to grasp onto it, but not smother it. You see, it's holding it, but it's not stopping its expansion. And especially what I notice here is with who you need to become with the snake card, you see that these colorful things are in this like laid out pattern. Instead here, it was like very chaotic, the colors are all over the place. Here in the snake card, it's like you've organized it. You've created a pattern for it and you're allowing it to grow in exactly the way that you want it to. It's not like it's out of your control. You are the one with control over it. So if I was going to put that into words for something like your purpose or your career, I'm imagining that you've had this great idea come to you of like what career you want to pursue, what kinds of things you want to do, and you're like, oh, I want this to work out so bad, but I don't want to put restrictions on it. I don't want to start like doing the planning and like the non-fun work because it's going to start sapping all the joy and the passion out of it, and I don't want to lose it. But instead, you're kind of just, you're not moving, you're paralyzed almost, and you're not finding a way to let this growth come out. You're not allowing the egg to hatch. So what you need to do is figure out exactly how you're going to make this work. I know you're scared, I know that planning is stressful and you don't want to lose this passion that you have, but I think whatever this idea is that you've hatched in your mind, this is not something that's going to so easily fade away, because this is the thing that you're meant to do. I feel like you're afraid because in the past maybe you've come up with ideas, but they've like filtered away, and you're afraid that's going to happen here. But I want to tell you that those previous ideas that filtered away and they didn't last, those weren't meant for you. They were ideas along the path, but now you've found something real. And that's why you're so scared to lose it. But you need to ease up on the reins a little bit. You need to let it be free. You need to let it see where it's going to go. And you also need to start putting in discipline and putting in real work. With the snake here, who you need to be, I see that all this passion, these ideas and stuff, they've been put into a concrete pattern of how they're supposed to be. Versus here, like I said, it's all over the place. So your main goal right now, I see you have a lot of determination to make it work, but with ideation, a lot of it is just ideas inside your mind right now. It hasn't been put into concrete reality. So it's time for you to start taking steps towards the goal. And I'm going to use a personal example here so you have an idea. So I really enjoy doing tarot reading, and I wanted to make it into a business. But in order to do that, I had to start researching what kind of camera equipment that I'm going to get, to make these videos. I had to learn how to edit, figure out what the editing software is that I'm going to use. I had to figure out how analytics work, how posting works. Video editing took a long time. I feel like I already said that. I had to research like what kinds of decks that I want to look into, what kinds of techniques I enjoy doing. I had to start making spreads. And then, like, once I had all that, like, it was great planning, getting all the things that I needed, but then I just had to, like, sit at the desk and start doing a reading. And it wasn't perfect at first, and even now it's not perfect, but I'm still putting in that work, and I think that's what you need to start doing. So, like, let's say that you're a writer, and you've figured out, okay, I know I have this idea of exactly what the story is, it's come to my mind, I'm so ready to do it, but you're scared to start putting pen to paper because what if it doesn't work out? Or maybe if you show it to other people, people aren't going to like it. But I need to tell you, you just need to start. Start world building. Start naming your characters. Start writing everything out. And then open up that Google Doc or open up your pen and paper if you use that and just start. It's time to just start. And you don't need to have everything figured out right away. The most important thing is just at least starting, taking steps in the right direction, because even if it's just one step, that's still one step in the right direction. And even if it fails and falters along the way, you're learning and growing, and as long as you don't stop that momentum, you're going in the right direction, and you're gonna make it work. And another thing about this like kind of creative process is inspiration is great. Inspiration and motivation, that's that thing that starts off the journey. That's the thing that gives you the excitement to want to start. But it's not there permanently. And I feel like in the past, the reason that these ideas that you've had hadn't worked out is because you had the motivation in the beginning. You had that stroke of inspiration or this idea come to you. But when the inspiration started going away, you didn't have the discipline to keep working. And what I want to tell you is stuff like this, or stuff like making a podcast or writing a play, you get the inspiration in the beginning, but that's not always there. Sometimes I wake up, I don't want to make a tarot video, but I still do it anyway, because I know in the end this is something that I care about. This is something that I want to put effort into. And as long as you are able to make discipline within yourself, put discipline into making a routine, building a schedule for yourself, and at least like making like a to-do list of the things that you need to acquire, the things that you need to be doing, what deadlines you need to hit, you're taking steps in the right direction. And inspiration comes back. It doesn't go away forever, but it's not constant. And you need to learn how to keep going, how to find the motivation to keep going when you don't have that inspiration there. To not feel like, oh, my inspiration's gone, that must mean that my passion for this project is gone forever, that means I should give up. No, I don't think that you should give up. I think that this is something, first of all, with the Lover's card and the Ace of Cups card being here and the Cosmic Egg and the Snake, everything is lining up here to show me that this is something that is a part of your life purpose. And not just that, but this is something that you are very passionate about, and this is something that is going to lead you in a beautiful direction. Like, this is a key moment of your life. This is something that you are meant to do. And I need you to like hammer that into your brain and realize that this determination and these ideas that you're having, you need to stick with that. And even though you're afraid to start like the stressful like disciplining and scheduling and planning and actually putting pen to paper, I know it's scary. I know sometimes you can get into like this procrastination rut where you just want to lay in bed and not move because you're scared. What if it doesn't work out? What if it's all for nothing? But you just need to get up and start. Even if you're just planning like from your bed, or like, for instance, if we're talking about the writing thing, even if you're just writing ideas in your notes app, it's still a step in the right direction. And you need to figure out ways to keep going. Find ways to motivate yourself. Find ways to discipline yourself. Maybe you need to increase your self-care because that makes you feel more productive and allows you to work towards this. Maybe you need to declutter your room so that your mind feels more clear. Maybe you need to get out there. Maybe you need to physically move to a different location because in that area you feel more productive and then you can work better towards your goal. But start taking those steps. Do those things that make this happen because that's what you need. That's what you need to get this done. You have all the passion, all the tools that you need to get ready. You just need to arrange them properly. You just need to figure out the arrangement to get it done. Does that make sense? It's like you have all the puzzle pieces, you just need to put them together. And sometimes you're not going to want to lift up your hand. Sometimes you're going to be like, why am I even doing this puzzle? I don't want to do this puzzle right now. But you got to. Because once it's done, you'll be so fulfilled. So that was a long rant, but trust me, this is like something I feel passionate about. So down here with the tarot, these are, let me look at my notes. Oops, sorry. These are, 3 things holding you back or things that you need to improve. So, things holding you back or things that you need to improve. First of all, with the Lover's card, I feel like this is a sign not to get distracted. This is a sign not to step off this path. And the reason that I say that, if you don't know tarot, the Lover's card is a lot more than just like romantic love and like sexual stuff. The Lover's card is also about a choice. If you actually look at the card, it's Eve in the Garden of Eden having to choose between what God told her to do and what her desires were. And basically all this to say that the Lover's card is also about choices. And you need to choose. This is something that you desire. Are you going to falter off this path, or are you going to continue to chase after the things that you desire and see where they lead you? Even if people are telling you against it, or it might not seem like a good idea, or maybe people might not accept it, you have this desire for a reason. It's my personal belief that we are given desires because they are things that we are meant to be guided to. Our passion inside us is like the compass that guides us down the correct path. And even if your passion is at the end of this long path that has all these winds and turns and things that don't necessarily seem like good directions, as long as you're following this path with pure intentions, because it's your purpose, because it's what your highest self wants for you, it's not driven by ego, that's the right direction that you need to be going in. And you need to make sure that, first of all, be sure that this is what you want. Be sure that this is the purpose that feels right to you. Does it feel right in your gut, in your intuition, in your heart, in your soul? Because if it does, stick with it and hold on to that belief, because there will be times when you're going towards this thing where you start to second guess yourself, where you start to lose that inspiration, like I said. But you need to have the discipline and the belief that this is the right thing that you should be doing. This is what your purpose is. And cut out the distractions and things that don't serve you, the things that try to pull you away from this, because this is what you're meant to go after. And another thing I want you to know with the Ace of Cups, like I said, inspiration isn't permanent. It comes and it goes, and it's great when it's there because it puts wind in your sails, but you also need to know how to find that discipline for yourself. And the best way that I think that you can is reminding yourself how much you love this thing, how much it sets your soul on fire. And especially if it's something like career-wise, something that, like a good reminder that I heard was, if you didn't need to worry about money, would this still be something that you would pursue? Like, even if you suddenly got like $1 billion tomorrow and you don't need to have a career if you don't want to, you could sit on your ass, would this still be something that you would pursue just because it makes you happy? If so, continue to do it, because this is what you want. This is what your soul wants. Remind yourself how much you love it. The Ace of Cups is all about overflowing love. And also just abundance. When you can tap into that Ace of Cups energy, that's what's going to put the wind back in your sails when you're feeling a little down or when you lose that inspiration, reminding yourself how much this means to you, how much it can provide for you emotionally and spiritually, and also how it can benefit others. How is this purpose benefiting those around you, benefiting your community? How is it connecting to others? How is it pulling you in the right direction? Because that is what you can tap back into when inspiration fails you. That's how you can stay disciplined even when you don't want to be disciplined. I'm going to recommend you something that, honestly, a lot of people can take it or leave it. Some people hate this guy, some people love him. Me, I don't agree with everything he says, but sometimes he's the kick in the ass that I need that like gets me back to work, even when I don't want to work. It's this guy, Leo Skeppy. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's like kind of blowing up everywhere right now. But I've been listening to him for a while. He has this podcast called Aware and Aggravated, and he has this one episode called Lack of Discipline Makes You Ugly. Now, I will say I don't agree with everything in that, especially when it comes to like the body image, working out kind of thing. But what he says about discipline and working towards your goals was really beneficial to me personally. And I know it's very beneficial to other people as well. I highly, highly recommend that episode and his podcast in general. But like I said, I know he's not for everyone, but even if you don't resonate with some of the things he says, there's still really great advice in those episodes. But yeah, that's just kind of an aside. Especially if you're having issues with lack of discipline, and you really want to pursue this goal, you really want it to work out, I highly, highly recommend listening to that. And so the final two cards that I have for you here today are the Empress and the Four of Cups reversed. And I feel like this is saying you're very in tune with divine feminine energy, which is all about receiving, it's all about intuition, and that's what allowed this idea to suddenly come to you. That's what allowed these, moments of inspiration or moments where you get this passionate idea coming to you. That's when you're in tune with your creativity. That's when you have the energy to create something and bring it into this world. But you also need to know that now that this idea has come to you, it's no longer time to sit back and relax, because you don't need any more ideas coming to you. You don't need more information to come to you. If you're in a creative rut and you're trying to think of ideas, that's when you want to sit back and allow them to come to you. That's when you want to sit back and allow your creativity to be at work, allow your intuition to be at work. But now it's time for you to be in tune with the divine masculine energy. And I try to like gloss over this because I don't want to repeat myself all the time. But if you don't know, divine masculine, divine feminine have nothing to do with gender. They're just archetypes. Honestly, a better term would be yin and yang, but here in Western culture, we kind of talk about divine feminine and masculine a lot more than yin and yang. But essentially, masculine is like the businessman, the go-getter. He's the one actively pursuing. He's the one putting in the work, using the discipline. Versus divine feminine is the receiving one, the one where abundance comes to you, the one that's all about like the more spiritual side of manifestation, allowing it to attract towards you. But the thing about manifestations is you have to have both. Divine feminine allows you to have the ideas come to you. That's when you have the moments of inspiration. That's when ideas are all, all up in your head. But divine masculine is when you go out and get the work done. That's when you go out and start putting your ideas and grounding it in concrete reality. So what you need right now is to start putting in that work, to start making plans, to start setting deadlines. I don't like deadlines. I think they're very stressful. But if that's something that you need to be doing for what you're working towards, you need to start getting on top of it. And so that's what you need right now. You have everything within you to succeed. You've cemented this divine feminine energy within you. Now the thing that you need to be doing is grounding it in reality, making those plans, making yourself disciplined, getting that schedule, uprooting your life so that you can make it the kind of life that you want to live, the kind of life that is necessary to make this happen. So that is everything that I have for you. I do have one final card, and this is just advice straight from your spirit guides to you about this current situation. And the card that you got is the Crow. So crows can be spiritually significant to you. This could be a spirit guide or spirit animal of some kind to you. You might see them very often. If you're not seeing them super often, it could be that you start seeing them after seeing this reading. Something that's also coming to mind right now for me, for some reason, is the number 3. So maybe you see 333 or 333. That could be a significant number telling you, basically, you're on the right path. This reading is accurate, especially if you start seeing a lot more crows. It could be a sign to come back to this reading and listen to what it has to say again. But essentially what this card says is, universal laws and truths are now being revealed. Use this energy to create your reality. So I'm going to leave you there with that. Feel free to reread this card yourself. Feel free to come back to this reading whenever you need. But that is everything that I have for you. I really hope that you enjoyed this reading. If it resonated with you and you feel like it really connects to your personal situation, feel free to leave a comment down below. I love hearing about people's stories, especially if it, if they really resonated with what I'm saying. And if you enjoy what I do and you want more from me, feel free to check out the rest of my channel because I have a lot more videos like this. I really enjoy these kinds of videos, or readings rather. Or feel free to subscribe and stick around because I do post about twice a week. And if you want a reading about your specific personal situation, feel free to check out my shop. There's a link down in the description box below. But that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye. Alright, pile 3, last but certainly not least. If you chose the blue lace agate, then this is going to be the reading for you. And, usually I start by telling you what everything means, but I already know that you don't have a lot of patience based on your reading, so we're going to get right into it. And I want to start by saying, I feel your frustration. I feel that you're very frustrated that you haven't gotten what you want yet. You feel like you're ready for it, but I hate to break it to you, you're not quite ready yet. There is still more to come. There's still further to travel, and it's gonna be hard for you to swallow. I feel like you are very frustrated, and I understand. I don't want to say, stop being so frustrated that you haven't gotten what you want yet. Stop being a baby, because that's not true. The truth is, if this is a career thing, we need money. If you haven't gotten the money that you need, you're not able to fulfill certain needs. You're not able to get certain comforts that you want. So it's valid for you to be angry, but you have to realize that this thing that you've been wanting, this thing that you've been trying to get towards, you feel like you're at this place that you're ready to receive it. You keep saying to the universe, I've done all the work, I'm here, I'm ready, why haven't I gotten it yet? And you're getting very frustrated. But the truth is, just because you believe that you're ready for it, and just because you feel like you've done all the work, doesn't mean that you're fully ready yet. I think you've done a lot of work, you've waited a very long time, but there's still a little bit more for you to learn. And I know how frustrating that is. But let's go ahead and get into it a little bit more in detail. So starting off, what is your goal? What is the thing that you've been trying to manifest? What is it that you're working towards? The two cards that you have here are hunger and frustration. There's something that you've been wanting for a long time, a specific promotion maybe, a specific achievement or award, or maybe you've been working towards a degree, but there's been setbacks. Something has been setting you back and you're getting really frustrated. And especially if you look at the frustration card, you see like somebody's trying to fit a square peg in a round hole. And I'm imagining you are just trying to ram this thing into the hole and like moving it side to side, like why isn't it fitting? And no wonder you're getting frustrated, because if you even look at the two cards, like the hunger card has a circle and the frustration card has the circle as well, and it's like you're trying to fit into the circle, but you're just a square peg right now. And what I want to say about that is if you're a square peg and you want to fit in that circle hole, you need to shave off some sides. There's still more work to be done. I'm imagining like this square peg, if it was once this big tree, that's like how you started off, and you had to shave away bits of you. You had to put in the work, put in the discipline, and you've shaved it down to like where you think it's going to be small enough to fit in the hole, and you're like, okay, I'm ready, let's go. But no, you still need to round off those corners. There's still a little bit more polishing. You're not quite finished. Like if you have a product that you're working on, you want to just send it off as soon as you think it's done, but if it makes it to that customer and it's not finished, they're going to have a bad reaction because they're like, well, this wasn't quality control checked properly. And you right now, you are at that stage where whatever it is that you're trying to work towards, there's something not yet finished. There's something that needs to be quality controlled. There's something that needs to be rounded off. And if you were to just finish right here, right now, and get what it is that you desire, it would crumple and fail because you're not ready yet. And I know that you hate hearing that, but you're going to get what you want. It is still going to come to you. You just need to be patient. That is the thing that I see the most from here. And the reason that I see that so much is because you have the Temperance card, and also the Fish card is like, it's all pointing in the same direction to me. It all makes a lot of sense to me. So right now I want to talk to you about like where you are right now and who you need to be in order to get this goal or this manifestation. So who you are right now, you have the Cobra card. And the Cobra is very wise. The Cobra knows when to strike. But when the Cobra is out of balance, it could tend to, like the guidebook literally says the words like know it all. Like you think you know everything, but you don't quite yet. And sometimes we get stuck in this trap where we know enough to think we're wise, but not enough to actually be wise. And I don't want to like come at you with like, you need to be humbled, like you need to sit down, you need to be patient. I'm not trying to come at you with that energy. And if you feel like I am, I feel like it's like also pointing towards this Cobra energy that I hate saying the word like you need to be humbled because I think it's rude, and I think it's great that people have confidence. And I see you have a lot of confidence, and I don't think it's misplaced. I think you've put in a lot of work. But you are mistaking this confidence for being ready for this thing, and you're not quite ready yet. You've put in a lot of work, but there's still more to be done. And I think what you've specifically been having the biggest issue here with, which I see here with the Fish card being who you need to be in order to get this goal or manifestation, is you need to learn that there's not just one specific direction towards a goal. I feel like you're standing here and your goal is right here, and you feel like it's going to be a straight line between the two, and you feel like, okay, as long as I'm putting in work, as long as I'm putting the steps forward, I'm going to be making it to this thing. But when obstacles come into your path, you get pissed off. You think, okay, let me strike them down, get them out of my way, and go through them, because you don't want to go around and figure out a different way. Like, I'm sorry if it's hard for me to explain this, but I feel like I'm channeling this energy, especially with these cards, of frustrated, wanting to go a specific direction. Like I'm literally picturing like a bull trying to ram its head through something instead of going around it. And the biggest thing that you need to learn with the Fish card is how to go around. Because the thing about fish is you imagine them in a river. There's rocks everywhere jutting out of the place. And the fish loves to be in movement. It doesn't want to sit still. And I feel like you don't like sitting still either. But the thing about a fish is it knows how to stay in the flow of the river, how to keep moving forward but also go around. Whereas the Cobra is just strike first, think later. And I feel like you've been all about striking, all about moving forward, pushing. And when something comes in your way, when something stops you, when there's an obstacle or you have to wait, you get really pissed off. And so you just want to strike at it until you can get through. You don't want to take a second to figure out, okay, let me stop, let me pause, and let me go around. And when you can embody this fish energy, it sounds kind of ridiculous, but when you can embody this energy of learning how to go with the flow, understanding that there's an obstacle in the way for a reason, that it is for your benefit, it's for your highest good, even if it frustrates you or it doesn't feel like it at the time, that's when you'll learn to move around, to have more patience, and you'll get to this thing a lot easier. Because imagine this, okay? You have two people working towards the same goal, and they have the same timetable. They're both going to reach it in 2 years. But you have the patient person who understands the flow of things, who understands that obstacles are in their way, to teach them something or for a good reason, versus the person that wants to beeline straight towards it, doesn't want anything in their way, gets frustrated easily if there's things in their way. These two people are going to reach it at the same time, but one is going to be a lot more at peace, one is going to be a lot more thankful for the journey, versus the other one is going to be like, well, why couldn't I just teleport to the end? The other one isn't realizing that you're learning a lot along the way, and that even if you're not meant to get a lesson out of a certain obstacle or a certain thing in your path, maybe it's happening for a good reason. Like I said with the quality control thing, imagine you're trying to put out this product and you just want to rush it out as soon as possible. If you didn't take the time to quality control check it, maybe people will be like, why is this thing falling apart? This thing arrived to me damaged. This is really poor quality. Then they leave you a bad review. Then your business starts to suffer. And then nobody's buying from you. And instead of having this booming, beautiful business, you now have a bunch of dissatisfied customers because you thought faster is better. Faster isn't always better. You need to learn that things happen the way that they happen for your highest good. There's this thing that you want, that you're hungry for, that you really want to achieve, and I see that you want to. But getting frustrated at little inconveniences, getting super frustrated at obstacles in your way, isn't going to make them go away any faster. In fact, it's best if you can take the time to sit down, pause, ask yourself, why is this thing in the way? Or even if you can't figure out why it's in your way, just think to yourself, okay, maybe it's happening for a good reason. I should be thankful for this thing instead of frustrated. I know I want to achieve it as fast as possible, but maybe it's better that this is happening this way instead of me getting to the end and suddenly there's all these issues. You have to reframe your mind, because you're frustrating yourself when you're still going to arrive there no matter what. But if you could be more patient, it's going to happen a lot easier mentally on yourself. And also, you'll just feel a lot more in tune with the flow, a lot more thankful, and frankly, you'll be dealing with a lot less frustration. I feel like that's your biggest thing right now, is you're just getting pissed off at things, and it's kind of worsening your quality of life at the moment. It's making you really unhappy with the universe, kind of bitter towards the world, and that's no way that you should be feeling when you're chasing after your purpose or chasing after your passion. And I feel like what you're needing right now is a little bit of a humbling. Like I said, I don't like saying that, but when I look at the Cobra, I'm imagining someone that feels like they have got it all figured out, that thinks that they know everything, and when things don't work out, they get really pissed off. And the truth is, they don't know everything. If they did, then you'd understand why these obstacles are in your path, why you're having these delays, and you wouldn't be so frustrated. So, I really don't like saying this, but you might need to humble yourself and be more patient. Stop trying to grab things right away. Stop getting so pissed off when you have these delays, because like I said, they're happening for a reason. So finally, moving on to the tarot cards, these ones are all about what things do you need to let go of or improve in order to reach your goal. And you have all really good cards here, and to me, that is a sign that you are going to get this thing that you desire. You are destined for it. Like, whether you are frustrated at the end or not, you're still going to get it. But something that's going to help you along the way is learning how not to be so frustrated with the process, how to accept divine timing and accept the flow of life and just be in it. Stop fighting the current, stop ramming your head into boulders, and learn how to go around them. So, starting off with the Chariot card. This card is all about drive, movement forward, and like I said, like The fish and the cobra, they both love movement, but the fish knows how to go around obstacles. The fish knows how to stay in fluidity, versus the cobra is like strike first, think later, fast strikes, like it needs to happen fast. You know what I'm saying? And so the thing about the chariot is supposed to be this emperor that's decked out in armor, that has all this power, that has people cheering him on. He leads an army. But he's no faster than the chariot that he rides on. With all this money, all this power, and all this drive to succeed, he is still stuck on the chariot. And if he were to try to get off and go his own way, he would be even slower because he'd be walking on his own two legs, carrying all this armor. So what I have to say is, no one, no matter how wise or smart you are, no one is above the speed of divine timing. And when you can learn how to accept that things happen at a certain pace for a certain reason, certain obstacles and delays come to us because they need to, you will be more in tune with the flow of life. You won't feel so rushed, so unhappy, and so frustrated when it doesn't work out the right way. And the thing that I see here with both the chariot and the magician together is just, it's a very, very clear sign that you are going to get what you're desiring. So like I said in the beginning, if this is a career thing, if it's like a money thing and you need it to survive, you're going to get it. So I want to ease your fears there. It's just going to take more time. And I need you to hear that. And I hope that it can bring you at peace a little bit. Even if it's hard to accept that it's not happening on your timetable, that you're still going to get it, I hope that that eases your mind a little bit. And what I see with the magician is, there's pros and cons to this card, right? The magician is all about having all the tools at your disposal to get things done. It's about drive and passion and moving forward, creating, manifesting, and I see you putting in all that work. But the thing about the magician is it's all about divine masculine energy. It doesn't have the proper balance of divine feminine energy as well. And every single reading has said this same thing. I think that this is a common thing that people are going through, where there's like a lack of balance. And I want you to know, if you don't know, divine feminine and divine masculine has nothing to do with gender. So get that out of your mind. You don't need to be male or female or whatever to align yourself to a specific energy. A more accurate term would be yin and yang, because these are just archetypes. So masculine energy, like I said, is all about, it's active, it's pursuing, it is creating, versus feminine is attracting, it's passivity, it's intuition and things coming to you. And the thing about divine masculine energy is it's like this cobra. Like I said, it's all about getting things done, pushing. It's like taking this square peg and trying to ram it against the circle hole to try to get it through, try to get what you want. But divine feminine energy is the opposite. It's allowing yourself to sit back in stillness, to attract the things that you want, to allow time to bring you your manifestations. And it's important to have a balance of both, especially when you're trying to make something happen. And an analogy that I like to bring up is like the idea of trying to manifest a cake. The divine feminine energy will sit back and wait for the right recipe to come to you, to, speaking aloud to the universe, this is what I want to create, this is what I want to bring into reality. And the universe will be like, okay, here's your recipe, here's like the ingredients, but you need the divine masculine energy to go out and make it. You have the ingredients and you have the recipe, but you still need to put it together. You still need to create it yourself. And I feel like you have been all about create, build, make it happen, but you haven't been sitting back to allow yourself to get the right recipe, to get the correct things. And it's because if you feel like you sit down for too long, you're gonna fail. You're not gonna get what you want. And what I have to tell you is you have to have a balance. I think especially if what you're working towards is career-wise, I think you have been like one of those kinds of people that subscribes to this hustle culture idea where it's all about work yourself into the ground, and you'll get whatever you want, and then you can sit back and relax. Instead of allowing yourself to have a balance of work, allow yourself to relax, attract, allow yourself to plan and have ideas come to you, especially if you're trying to work towards something that has to do with like a passion or inspiration or creativity. You need that time to sit back and have the ideas come to you, have these ideas of what you want your business to look like to come to you. Because if you're all work, you're not getting that creative energy. You're not allowing that flow of ideas to come to you. And so one thing I'll say about this card is you're doing great on like the divine masculine front, the yang energy. You're all about like going after, making it happen. You're doing great on that front. But when it comes to divine feminine energy, you need to allow yourself to not be afraid to sit back, relax, and have patience. Because I feel like a big reason you have this lack of patience is because you have this fear of stagnancy. That if you sit still for so long, you're not gonna make this happen. You're gonna lose it. You're gonna lose momentum. The things aren't gonna come to you. And I want to tell you that that's not the case. Because like I said, you are destined to get this thing. But it's also like one of those things I said about quality control. Think quality over quantity. If you've been all about quantity, push it out, make it happen, get these things, they're not proper quality. And I think you're at this point where quality is more important. Taking the time to refine your skills, to make sure you're ticking all the boxes, to slow down a little bit is very important to this thing that you're working towards. And you need to learn that. Because I feel like you've been taught, especially by hustle culture and stuff, that more and faster is better, and that's not necessarily the case, especially for whatever it is that you're trying to work towards. And if I'm looking back at this fish versus the cobra, the fish is much more relaxed. The fish is still moving, but it's relaxed, it's flowing, it's going around obstacles, versus the cobra is like stiff, it's poised, it's always flexing its muscles ready to attack. And it uses that energy up in like bursts to attack super fast instead of having this fluid movement to like, it's like slow and steady wins the race, basically. And so the big thing that you need to hear, which I'm re-emphasizing as much as possible so that you hear it, is you need to have patience. And the Temperance card is all about patience. Like if I could choose a keyword for it, patience is key. So that is your reading. That is everything that I have for you. There's actually one more card here, which I forgot to get out, so you're going to shuffle it. You're going to see it shuffled live on camera. But I do like to get one final card, and this is all about what you need to hear from your spirit guides right now, what advice you need about this current situation. So, pile 3. What does pile 3 need to hear from their spirit guides about this current situation? What does pile 3? All right, you got the Kingfisher. So this might be like a specific spirit animal to you. This might be something that you see very often. If not, you might start seeing it after you watch this reading, and maybe it might be a sign to come back to this reading and listen to what it says, or just be a reminder about what you heard in this reading. So keep an eye out if you see things like this, or you hear people talking about kingfishers for some reason. It's kind of a rare bird, at least where I come from, so who knows. But this says, prosperity is flowing. Have faith that you will receive it in the perfect form. Okay, that couldn't have been more perfect. I'm glad that I shuffled on camera, because I feel like you guys have that kind of energy that you're like, this is bullshit. Like, I don't believe this. But you heard it. Like, I shuffled it right on camera for you. You saw that live. Have patience. Everything is going to happen in the perfect form, in the way that it is meant to. And it even has the word flowing. Prosperity is flowing. When you can be in flow, have faith that you're going to receive it when you need to in the right form, you're golden. Like, that is the best way to finish this reading. I'm glad that it happened on camera so that you could see it, because I feel like that was meant to happen for your pile. But pile 3. I hope you enjoyed this reading. It was kind of rocky. I feel like I had a hard time finding the correct words, but I hope that this resonated with you, that this helps a little bit. I hope it didn't come off as like me berating you and like trying to humble you, because in the end, I feel like this is something that you need to hear, and that this is going to happen for your highest good. When you can be in the flow, when you can be patient and have that balance of divine feminine, divine masculine energy, that is when you are going to achieve everything that you desire so much easier. So, if you enjoyed this reading, feel free to check out any of my other videos, because I have a ton more like this. And if you enjoy the way that I read, feel free to subscribe and stick around, because I do post about twice a week. And if you want a reading on your specific situation, feel free to check out my shop. There's a link down in the description box below. But that's everything that I have for you. Thank you so much for watching if you made it this far. Bye-bye.